Hi there, and welcome to Lesson 7 in our series on how to use Google Docs. Now in this lesson, we're going to take a careful, close look at the use of numbered and bulleted lists in your documents. Now, one of my roles here at Mindset is to help develop new websites. And so part of that job is to make long lists of all the things that are wrong with the websites that the developers need to fix. And it's exactly part of one of those lists that I want to work on with you today. So let's take a look. So here is the list of all the issues that, or some of the issues that we have currently been logged on one of our new websites that I need to make into a numbered list. And the reason for that is if I left it like this, it's actually quite difficult for anyone reading this to follow. Numbered lists really do a good job in making long strings of text easier to work with. So to do that, very simple, select the text, whichever way you like to do, more, and there is the numbered or bulleted list options. So I'm just going to click on the numbered list and it's going to make this list into a numbered list. Nothing very fancy about that. So we've created a numbered list in our document, but it's still not that useful because I intended to communicate subpoints to many of the points in this list. So let's see how we can create those subpoints. Well, to start with, here's one subpoint, the PC. And underneath PC, I've got main navigation issues, and then underneath that, I've got the subject submenu. Now, in order to make point 4 a subpoint of point 3, we need to increase its indent. And there's two ways to do that. The first way is through the Format menu. If you go to Paragraph Styles, you can increase the indent like that. The other way is, again, place your eyeball where you intend to indent and press the Tab key. Once we'll indent it to one subpoint. Press it again, and it will create a subpoint below the original subpoint. Now, incidentally, if you make a mistake, there is a really easy way to undo that work. You can either use the undo function or come to Format, Paragraph Styles and decrease the indent, but the other shortcut is to press Shift and Tab together, and that will reverse the direction of the tabbing. So let's go ahead and increase some of the tabs in this bulleted list. So inside the subject menu, tab still not working, drop shadow is missing, the menu item hover style is wrong, etc., etc. Now I see in that case, I had to change the indentation of each bullet point one by one. But there is a faster way to do that as well if you've got a number of points that all need to be indented at the same time. So the Learn Extra menu will be the same level as the submenu, but all of these points here need to be indented so that they are subpoints to the Learn Extra menu. So what I've done is I've just selected them all, and if I press the tab, you can see that they indent all at the same time. But there's something else here that's not quite the way I want it. Some of this alignment of the bullets and the tabs is not quite right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the alignment of the submenu. So now that my eyebar is there, I get these two little icons here on the ruler. And I do want to just shift this along to the left a little bit, just to get it in line. Maybe move the eye by itself somewhat to the right. But now I've got a problem that this submenu and this submenu at the same level are not in line with each other. So let's change this one as well. Move that one to the left so that it's in line with subject, and move the bullet itself just a little bit back to the right so that it is in line with main and point 1 and point 2. We can do the same thing over here, but in this case, instead of just doing one bullet at a time, I'm going to select all of them and move them all at the same time to get them more in line. That's looking good. Maybe move the bullets back a little bit, put those in line. There we go. That's looking quite neat. And we could do the same thing to this set of sub-bullets if we needed to. So far we've inserted a numbered list. We've changed some of the alignment of those points in the numbered list, and we have indented to show subpoints of specific points. But there's a whole lot more that we can do to modify the bulleted and numbered lists to make them exactly the way that we want them to be. The first thing I want to show you is, I'm going to select all of my list items, is that we can change the style of numbered or bulleted lists. If you click on the drop-down arrow over here, you can select a number of preset numbered listed styles. The same is true from the bulleted list, a number of presets. Most of them are quite handy. In this case, I want to select this one, which is completely numbered. 1, 2, 3, then 3.1, and so it goes on showing the indentation of the bulleted list. But that's not all that we can do. We can also change the suffix and the prefix that gets applied to bulleted lists. Let me show you what I mean. So in this case, I want to put a P in front of the number 1, 2, and 3 to indicate that these are major points. Now to do that, I need to go into the Format menu and down here to the List Options. In List Options, you can edit the prefix and the suffix. Just before I go on, this is also where you can change the bullets and the numbers that you're using, as well as restart numbering at any particular point. But let's change the prefix and the suffix. So in this case, there's no prefix currently for the bullet point number 1. I want to add a prefix of P. Let's see what that does. Can you see that it's put the letter capital P in front of all of the bullet points that are at this level? If I go to one of the other levels, let's say this bottom one down here, and I go and do this exactly the same thing, edit prefix and suffix, I can say that I don't want this part of the bulleted list to end with a full stop. I want it to end with a closed bracket. And you can see that that is now because that was the level of the list that my my cursor had selected, it applies the closed bracket to each one of the bullets at this level in the list. Well, I hope that that's given you a good overview of how to work with bulleted and numbered lists in Google Docs. Until next time, bye-bye.